is a board member for the Prentiss Institute, National Alumni Association. She, along with a team of alumni and community members, have worked hard to renovate and restore the Rosenwald Building at Prentiss. She's a member of the Prentiss Institute Museum Committee. She organizes many community events centered around the Prentiss Institute, including large annual Black History Month celebrations, which bring young people in from across the community to learn of this history, and a time of just celebration and reflection. And so, Ms. Armstrong, very pleased that you're here. Let me swap over the video so that we can see you.
Good afternoon. My name is Janice Armstrong. I am the chairperson for Prentiss Institute Museum Committee here in Prentiss, Mississippi. Today, I would like to tell you a little about the past, the present, and the future of Prentiss Institute. Prentiss Normal and Industrial Institute was founded in 1907 by Jonas Edward Johnson. He was a graduate of Alcorn Agricultural and Mechanical College, and his wife, Bertha LeBranch Johnson, a graduate of Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. Its purpose was to serve as an elementary school and secondary school, later to become a junior college for African American students. The couple borrowed funds to purchase 40 acres of land. Classes began with 40 students, and tuition was paid with corn, eggs, potatoes, and molasses. Years later, due to the lack of students and funds, Prentiss Institute closed its doors in 1989. Today, Prentiss Institute has 5 usable buildings. The 1907 building, and it's used today as a museum. It is the original home of the Johnsons. It was built in 1820. It's on the National Register and a national landmark. The Rosenwald Building was built in 1926, which also is a national landmark. The Rosenwald Building is used for another part of the museum, which is where I am now. If you can see behind me, those are the founders, Mr. Jonas Edward Johnson and Ms. Bertha LeBranch Johnson. And this is the museum that's in the Rosenwald Building. And you can only see part of it. There's a lot of history in here. The Rosenwald Building is used as part of a museum. It is rented for weddings, reunions, business meetings, and other programs. The Science Building is used for meetings and church services. The library and Little Theater are rented when needed. Also, there's a gymnasium that is in need of many repairs. A partnership was formed between the Prentiss Institute Board of Trustees, supporters, volunteers, and members of the Prentiss Institute National Alumni. The partnership was formed to increase public awareness for support, create new jobs, and re-establish the educational foundation that once was the sole purpose of Prentiss Institute. Also, yearly programs are held on the Prentiss Institute campus. In February, the Museum Committee sponsors a Black History program involving the Jefferson Davis County School District students and surrounding communities. Every 2 years, we host an all-school reunion, which involves 1 day and 2 nights of events. In December, the alumni host a holiday banquet, and to bring attention to the long-leaf trace in Prentiss, we help with the Light Up the Trace event. Our future plans are to develop a partnership with Jefferson Davis County School District to bring educational classes on the campus, upgrade facilities on the campus, and work on grants that will provide new opportunities for Prentiss Institute. I did not send in any pictures, but I do have some that I can show. Let me see if I can get it on here. This is the 1907 building, the original home of the Johnsons, which is part of a museum. But right now we're not using it because of the floors. There are things that need to be upgraded and stored where we can use it. I mentioned to you about the longleaf trace. This is the longleaf trace. Prentiss Institute is right across the road. It runs across Prentiss Institute, the land, and it's about, I think it runs like 44 miles from here to, I know, to Hattiesburg, because my husband talked to a man who had been riding on a bicycle, and he said that he had came from Prentiss all the way down the trace, the longleaf trace. And it is used very often. We also have the grave site on print of the founders. I'm sorry about this, but it's also on the grounds where the 1907 building is. A few more chronological events. 1907, Prentiss Institute was established. In 1909, it became a charter high school by the state of Mississippi. Professor James Edward Johnson became president of the junior college. In 1912, U.S. Department of Agriculture sent county agents to render services demonstrating their use. In 1926, the Rosenwald Building was erected. And if you know anything about the Rosenwald Building, it's a national landmark as well. In 1944, the Veteran Program Bureau of Community Fathers Traded Building donated funds. In 1955, the Hefner Project was established here on Prentiss Institute. In 1959, the high school separated from the college, and the college became eligible to receive National Direct Student Funds and work study. And I myself attended Prentiss Institute, so I was a part of that work study. In 1968, the Ruby Struthers Library was erected with matching funds, and in 1969, the Ransom Olds Hall was erected, and that's was a girls' dormitory that was built. And strangely to think, you might not even think about it, on Tuesday, no, that was Monday, well, through Gary Bass, who is working with Prentiss Institute, who is a part of Prentiss Department of, well, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, the great-granddaughter of Ransom E. Olds Hall, and this is Hall that was the inventor of the Oldsmobile. That's where that building is named after, because he donated through the years different funds to Prentiss Institute. So I found out that bit of history a little while ago. In 1972, Madison Guy Donald Rural and Urban Women's Institute was organized. In 1973, the college received a grant funded by HEW for the institution for a special service project. In 1974, the junior college entered into the cooperative education program. In 1975, the junior college was approved to receive a grant from the state to organize and operate a child development technology program. In 1976, the Bangkok Science Building was built. In 1978, Cultural and Physical Education Complex, and that's the building that I was telling you about that is a gymnasium, but is in need of desperate repairs. In 1979, received grant from Mississippi Archives and History to restore the Tobias McGee home, which was a 1907 building, and that was to put a new roof on it. But now it's kind of dilapidating inside. Now, I know I was supposed to talk for 20 minutes, but I don't know if I have enough to say for the 20 minutes. But if there's any questions or anything, I can answer those.
Do you have any questions for?
Are there any questions?
Mrs. Armstrong, could you talk a little bit about some of the ways in which you are keeping the alumni and the alumni's families engaged in the work you're doing now that the school has closed? What are some of the challenges that you're facing, and how are you bringing the community together around the work that you're doing there with the museum and the Rosenwald Building?
Yes, we have a board of trustees, which consists of about 10 trustees, and the alumni, we have a board there with officers. And like I said, we have a reunion every 2 years, which will come up next year. And we also send out a newsletter of different events that we have here on campus. And it goes out in every 3 months, 3 to 4 months. It just depends on how many events that we have. And we stay in touch by Facebook and email. And we also have a website and page where you can contact Monique Hester, who is in charge of the rental of the buildings. And that would be on, under Prentiss Institute Rosenwald. And the other one is Prentiss Institute National Alumni. You can go on Facebook and just type those in, and it'll pop up. And it'll show you pictures and different events that we've held and been responsible for, or events that was where the Rosenwald Building was rented out. And I also mentioned about the partnership. The partnership is so much help. It's we have people from out of state who's really come in and help with the board of trustees as well as alumni with finding funds and donating funds and sponsoring different events as well.
Ms. Armstrong, we do have a question in the room for you.
Say that again.
Were you able to hear that question? All right, Ms. Armstrong,
I didn't hear the question.
Okay. So the question was, do you have any memories of the relationships between your school, Prentiss, and Utica during your time as a student?
No, I do not. I did. I mean, here,
when
and I didn't read.
I know in some of the yearbooks, and we found a number of games that were played, between the two institutions. They may have been in the same league at some point. I'm not sure.
Now, we did have basketball teams as well as football teams, but the teams that they played, I can't say who they were.
All right, Mrs. Armstrong, thank you very much for joining us and sharing with us about the Prentiss Institute.
Okay, and if anyone would like to visit Prentiss Institute, you can contact me through email or text, and our best do it on Facebook through the Prentiss Institute website. It's Prentiss Institute.
Okay, and Mr. Armstrong, we did actually have one question online. Let me get that question here for you. Hold on just a second. Okay, wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the Black History programs that you've led.
Repeat that, please. The Black History program? Was that
Yes,
the
ma'am.
question?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm the chairperson for the museum committee, and lately I've been the chairperson for the Black History program. And it consists of the same members of the museum committee as well as alumni. So we pick different subjects and invite people in to speak on those subjects. And we invite the sixth graders from the local school district, as well as the superintendent of education. We've had the and the staff, and we always serve refreshments. But the most intriguing thing is asking the children to take part in it. And this past year, we had them to do posters on their ancestry to see, so that they will learn their background from where they came from and who they're related to, which a lot of times we don't know who we're related to. But doing that ancestry background, a lot of kids did find that out. And I did as well because I had my DNA tested, and I found out my background, where I come from in different parts of Africa and all around the world, just about, even Native American. But I already knew that I had some Native American blood in me. And we've invited different people to talk about their businesses, their professional careers. We've had people from the Army, ministers. Every year we do something different. And this year, with so much talk about the election, I'm thinking about voting would be a good subject for the 2024 Black History program, because that's one of the things that a lot of us need to be more encouraged to do, is to make sure that we're registered. And a lot of times I know that we're registered, but we still don't go out and vote. So that's just one of the subjects that we might touch on. But that's in February of every year. It's usually around the last part of February, but sometimes it runs in a conflict with what's going on in the school system. So that, next year we may have to look at it differently. Instead of the latter part, we may have to try to do it in the earlier part. But we'll make sure to send you a flyer.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you sharing.
Okay, well, thank you. And I really appreciate it.